free, and in it we'll be learning different controllers. By different controllers I mean how will be we actually creating our different controllers, and then based on those controllers we would be working with different methods, and all of those methods and how do the mappings on different methods is gonna work. And we'll be actually looking into views. So what we'll be doing is like we'll be showing hello world or some message or something in an HTML page instead of giving just a string. So this would be our tutorial for today, and then yeah, let's go and check what would be our content. So this would be our content. We'd have controllers, then mappings, and then views. And let's dig deep into the controllers part, and let's go. We are gonna do is like we will work with multiple controllers, and based on those controllers how do the Spring actually works with them controllers, and how does the Spring Boot actually recognize our different methods, and how does based on that it gives us multiple different mappings, and how does we work with those mappings and all that. This would be including this. So let's go into the controller part. So this is a simple controller, and now we are going to create another controller. So we'll just copy this controller. Let's copy this one, create another controller and call it whatever we want. So we'll call it simple utility controller. And in this utility controller what we are gonna do is we are gonna say, so this is a different class. So what happens is like now in this particular class we can create our own methods with different mappings. We could have done same here, but to just to separate the work, what we are gonna do is like we create our own separate class with a controller annotation, and then based on that we can play with this one. So today we'll be playing with this particular controller, and based on that we'll be having multiple mappings and how do the mappings work, and how can we use a particular mapping for a particular method, and how can we display multiple different things. So let's go. What we are gonna do is right now we are gonna say, so for example we'll say hi. So this is a mapping. So in here what we are going to say, we are change the message would be method hi, and we are going to create a different mapping. So we'll create 3 mappings. Hi, so foo bar. We should always have different names, or at least we have to use Java's overloading here. If we don't want to do that, we have to change the name. So say hi, we'll say hi. Here we'll say foo. Here we'll say foo bar. Method hi, method foo bar. Now when we run our application, let's just run it and then see what exactly is gonna happen. So now that our application is running, we can run a new window, go to localhost. When we do this, we get our hello world, which is coming from this particular method because of this mapping. You see, now what we do is like we change the mapping accordingly. By mapping I mean URL. So I give this particular URL pattern, so Spring should recognize and then give us according to all. Great, so it is giving us the value which is coming from here, and what we can do is based on that we can also something like, so let's check this one. Foo, let's check this one. So this is how the mappings and different controllers work when we create a controller with REST controller. So what would do is Spring would recognize it that it is a controller, and then based on that it will do all the magic behind, create beans and everything, and then based on these mappings it will actually create in different URL patterns and give us the result accordingly. We could play with these methods and we could actually get a many things from it. For example, I could say system, so we could get properties and we could play with methods and all the things. We could get current time. So let's see how does it work. We stop our program, we run it again, we go back to the high part. So it is giving us the current time in milli. So we could also do date. We can also say time dot now, and we can run it again. So it is saying there is a problem with the timed out now method, which means our program is correct but there's this problem. So we'll play with these things later on, and we could also say 2 plus 2 whatever the result is. We could also do things like that. Let's go and then gotta check what is the result. So it gives us 4, and yeah, this is how different methods and mappings work. We could actually take it and change it accordingly, and we could say maybe something like this, maybe 8 or something, and then so this is how the mappings were. We could decide our URL mappings patterns here, and then based on that we could actually create links and all that. How would we do that? We will actually go there later when we dig deep. It's just an introduction for now. So now we do this. It is sorry, because we changed it so it cannot recognize it. Let's go there, do this. Now it's giving us this one. So for now this is it, and yeah, let's go into the views, how different views are gonna work, and how can we actually display these things in different methods. By different methods I mean how can we display it in a HTML form, how can I make it big, how can I make it H1, how can I make it H2, these things. Let's go and dig deep there. views will work, and how can we actually show a view by view, I mean a web page using our controllers, and we'll be playing with those web pages later on. But today in this particular section, what we'll be doing is like we'll be creating two pages, and based on those two pages we'll be actually displaying those different pages or different HTML files contents. And this time when we are gonna do this, we'll actually be working with Freemarker template engine, which makes things easier for us rather than JSPs. The purpose of this whole tutorial is to make web development easier for us, so we'll be using Freemarker web template engine. So yeah, so to do that, to use something, we have to, like databases or anything, we have to integrate a dependency for those in our POM file, and this is the POM file that we are going to use. And in this POM file we'll be putting a dependency for the Spring Boot Freemarker template engine. So to do that, what we can do is like we can search on internet. You just go there and search Spring Boot Freemarker dependency Maven, and then go on this Maven repository. Just check whichever you want, for example this one. So just take this file, I mean these lines, and then put them here. Just remove this version part, we don't need it. So when we do this, now what we'll have is like we already have for this one, so now we can use everything that Freemarker has to offer in our project. So to do that, what we are gonna do is like we are gonna go into templates, create a web page. So I'm going to create a web page, and so Freemarker template engine uses extension FTL, so we'll be saying hello, so FTL. So this is one, we can create one more, which would be heading .ftl. Now we have these two pages. We have to tell our application that the particular section or that these particular files should be recognized as HTML or Freemarker files. For that we have to go into application.properties. So we have to set these two properties. Go into Freemarker template loader path, and which would be templates. So class path, which is this one. So in this class path, go into template folder, which is this one, and from there all the files with FTL should be recognized as views. We have told our application how to recognize Freemarkers. So now we come here and then we just copy this one and then say here hello or whatever, say hello method, and then we say hello. What it will do is like it will actually return this particular file, which is hello.ftl, and we also do the same for heading part. Say heading, and we run now. Wait until it runs. Now that it is running, we go here, we say hello, there is nothing, it doesn't show anything. Now we do the same for the heading, it doesn't do anything. But foobar, very good. So now it's giving an error. Let's see what is the error about. We pause it here, say foobar and all that. I don't know what is the error about. So let's give some hello page. Maybe hello heading. Now we do this. Remove the cache. Localhost. Hello world. Now the application is running just fine. I think it was. So let's go into the controller again. Okay, so say heading. I think the error was something regarding the cache of the browser. It didn't recognize that the file was running. So we say hello, and hurrah, we have our application that is returning these web pages. And yeah, you can create as many pages and as many controllers for these. Next time what we'll be doing is, like, we are gonna go into these methods. We will play with these web pages. We'll be sending parameters like some name and all that, and then those parameters would be displayed, and we'll be reading those parameters here and then displaying them here. And we'll also be working with the simple form and how to submit a form and how to read the values from form. That would be done in the next tutorial. Until then, stay tuned, and yeah, practice, practice and practice. That will make you perfect. Bye bye, take care.